Guys, be part of the biggest Michigan football community on the internet for a show. We got some data recently as we are preparing for the 2023 football season, doing a little ad sales, and got some folks to pull the numbers. TV, radio, podcast, YouTube, any platform that does a Michigan football show. Nobody had a bigger audience in 2022 than the Michigan Football Report. So, very proud of that. Thank you, everyone, for watching and helping us spread the gospel. So if you haven't yet, hit the subscribe button or send a link to a friend. It's down in the comments and the description of today's video. As always, it's youtube.com/MichiganTV. Help us grow that subscriber base. The Michigan Football Report is presented by Manscape. Go get the best male grooming products in the game at manscaped.com. Get 20% off and free shipping using promo code GOBLUE. End of today's show, folks. We are going to talk about a six-figure NIL offer that is now out there for Jadyn Davis, the five-star 2024 quarterback recruit that Michigan has targeted as really their main guy for this 2024 class. You're going to want to watch the end of the video because this could be program changing for Michigan, for Jadyn Davis, and maybe for the future of NIL and college athletics. All right, it is my weekly mailbag. Took some questions on the YouTube community channel a few days ago. Apologies for not getting them sooner, but here we go for you on a Sunday, our Michigan football mailbag. First question coming in from my guy, Jamie Broussard, no relation to Chris. Says, will the offense use more read option out of shotgun pistol formations this season? We've got the speed to crush defenses with it. Go Blue. All right, well, let's just kind of dive into this a little bit. What's the worst thing that could happen to Michigan in 2023? It's J.J. McCarthy getting hurt, right? I think Michigan could afford an injury at any other position, really. Maybe not cornerback, but J.J. McCarthy potentially getting injured, and where would that most likely happen? Running. So I actually think it's interesting to think about whether Michigan should use McCarthy's running abilities to the best of his ability and as much as he is able, even if it gives them a better chance to win, because the likelihood of getting injured goes up so much more. And Michigan feels very strongly about their tight ends, right? They've got 2, if not 3 starters at tight end. They really like best running back combo, maybe in the history of the Big Ten, and 2 starting wide receivers returning with a bunch of young talent. So I don't think they should, but if they do, they've got to make sure J.J. McCarthy steps out of bounds a little more, because he was playing, Johnny Manziel-style football last year. He's just lowering his shoulder, slamming into people. Saw it against Ohio State, right? The third quarter, just kind of lowered his shoulder around midfield, got an extra 8-10 yards, and then on that touchdown run, needed for that game. Do it again if it's in that situation, that game. But if you're playing UNLV in the second game of the year or something like that, can't be running J.J. McCarthy a bunch. I'd rather have them spend time working on the passing game. My guy, Shane Johnson, Miami Shane. He's been all over the world, going to Michigan games and across America, the Fiesta Bowl, going to Ann Arbor, etc. He asked, name one player on each side of the ball needed to emerge as a star to solidify the national championship run. We are Houston or bust. This is a Houston or bust show. My 2 guys. If Michigan is going to make it to the national championship game and have a serious chance to win the national championship game, I've highlighted these 2 players. Big Game Don as my first one on the offense. I'll tell you why here in a second. And then Mason Graham, right? The reason for Mason Graham, I'll go to first, is just because I think the difference in a lot of ways between Georgia and Michigan right now has been line play. Michigan's the best offensive line in college football the last 2 years. Well, didn't really prove it in the playoff games against TCU, against Georgia. Georgia's defensive line, I think, has been the difference maker in them winning back-to-back national championships. And with what Michigan is on the outside, if Mason Graham can be that next level player as a sophomore, be an all-conference level player at interior defensive lineman, I think Michigan then has what they need to potentially win a national championship. Blake Corum coming back. Donovan Edwards still is backup. We're calling 1A, 1B. I'm calling him Big Game Don, right? He's the Don. We're selling the Don t-shirts, chatsports.com/Don7, of course. But take a look at these stats. Against Ohio State and Penn State, arguably Michigan's 2 biggest regular season games last year, both top 10 matchups, number 10 Penn State, number 2 Ohio State, 38 carries, 389 yards. And by the way, remember, Blake Corum played in that Penn State game, so it's not like these were even Edwards starting in both. He was the backup in the Penn State game. 38 carries, 389, 4 touchdowns, 10.2 yards per carry, and 3 receptions. Folks, think about what Michigan has an offense next year, right? Think about the sports car that the Wolverines have coming back, and they need to drive that sports car like a Ferrari and not, some Cadillac 4-cylinder or something like that that looks nice but doesn't have the output. Michigan has 2 of the top 10 tight ends in all of college football, I believe, next year. They have the deepest and probably best offensive line in college football next year. They have a top 5 quarterback, arguably, and he could even be the best quarterback. You never know. The best 2 or the best 3 or 4 running backs in all of college football, 2 starting wide receivers returning, a bunch of talent in the kind of backup wide receivers. They cannot approach this like the last 2 years. It's not the same as the last 2 years. I know the identity is run the ball, pass when you need to. But with J.J. McCarthy, the wide receivers, the tight ends, the running backs, Michigan needs to approach this season like 2005 USC, folks. Pedal to the metal, 50 points every single game. Use those players. Don't just be stubborn and stick to the run the entire time. But I'll ask you guys this question. Will Michigan have a top 3 scoring offense in 2023? Had one for most of 2022 and kind of dropped out, around number 10 or so towards the end of the season. Let me know down in the comments. I'll pin this comment. I'll give me a yes or no. I'll pin this question to the bottom of the video. Reply to it with a yes or no. Will Michigan have a top 3 scoring offense this season? We got a question coming in from Wit23. He says, will we see J.J. more involved in the run game next year? Wit, I started talking about that question just a moment ago, so we're going to dive more into J.J. McCarthy in the running game. But first, I did want to tell you about Manscape. Folks, public service announcement. Manscape now has beard products and is going even further with their brand new Weed Whacker 2.0. You might be saying to yourself, James, what the hell is the Weed Whacker? Well, ear and nose hair. How do you think you get it out of there? Yank it out of there with some tweezers? Go ahead and tell the world, folks, the leaders in below-the-waist grooming are traveling north of your South Pole with their revolutionary grooming products. The new Weed Whacker 2.0 and their new beard line confirms they have all the best tools for your hygiene toolbox. Time to upgrade your game by going to manscaped.com and using code GOBLUE, no spaces, that's code GOBLUE at manscaped.com. 20% off, the best grooming products in the game. I have them all through my bathroom. I got Manscaped deodorant on, Manscaped shampoo, conditioner, body wash in the shower. Hell, I even got some Manscaped lip balm in addition to the Weed Whacker and all the other great Manscaped products. The brand new Weed Whacker 2.0 electric nose and ear hair trimmer offers improved blades and skin-safe technology with a no tugging guarantee. It's never been so painless to mind your manholes. One more time, manscaped.com, promo code GOBLUE, get you 20% off and free shipping. Check out the amazing Manscaped products. Link is down in the comments and the description of today's video. Going back to our guy, Wit23. It's okay, producer Jack popped a KJ. Go back to Wit. There we go. Look at Jack, best in the game. Fix that on the fly. Will we see JJ be more involved in the run game next year? So we started to talk about that a moment ago with that last question. I hope to see some more read options next year from Wit23. So what did we get from JJ last year? Started 13 games, won 12 of them, only lost to TCU. Didn't start the opener. That was Cade McNamara. 70 carries, 306 yards, 5 touchdowns. It was very here and there, right? Against Ohio State, you got JJ involved in the running game when needed. Against Penn State, you got JJ involved in the running game. But when Michigan didn't need it, they didn't involve him in the running game at all. So I think the question for me going into this season is, what would you rather have J.J. McCarthy take the big next step up for? What do they want to work on this spring, this summer when they can't really have official practices into fall camp? Is it J.J. McCarthy being the best read option guy, or hell, just shotgun takeoff running and get up to 600, 700, 800 yards, maybe 8, 9, 10 touchdowns? Or would you rather have him throw for 35 touchdowns, 34, 35, 3,600 yards? I think that J.J. McCarthy can do a lot of damage running. It does potentially risk injury. And with Blake Corum, Donovan Edwards being out this spring, I do think Michigan would be doing themselves a disservice by focusing more. We know J.J. McCarthy can run. Put the plays in the playbook. Put 5, 6 plays. Make it a part of practice. But if Michigan's going to beat Georgia, beat Ohio State again, of course, and Penn State, who might be one of the top 3 or 4 teams in college football, I do think they need to have an elite-level passing game to match the defense, to match the running game that they've had over these last 2 seasons. Put this question on the YouTube community a week ago or so, and I was pretty surprised. The bottom was the winner, the bottom option. So I said, you can only choose one for 2023, this upcoming season. Beat Ohio State again, and then what happens, happens. Or you make the national championship game, and then whatever happens, happens. So in this scenario, you beat Ohio State again. Let's just say you're 13-0, 12-0, go Big Ten total game. Whatever happens, happens. Or the Ohio State game's uncertain, but you know you're in the national championship game. You don't know who the opponent is. You got one game to win it all. You can only choose one, Bosa or Natty. Go ahead and give me a Bosa or Natty down in the comments. I don't know, Jack. What do you think? What'd you take?
Man, this is tough because I'd love to go to Houston, but
We might just go anyways.
We might just go anyways, but that's a tough one. I'm going to have to take a sec.
I think it's still beat Ohio State because, then all your goals are still in front of you, right? You just got to be in that Big Ten title game and the semifinal. But let me know what you guys think, Bosa or Natty. I got to think on that one. That's a tough question. It's a really tough question for anybody to answer. It was like 53% Natty make the national championship game, 47% beat Ohio State again. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. KJ, Jack put this up a moment ago, funny question. He says, do you ever get tired of being better than Sloppy Sam? And he's probably discussing the ratings, since Sam Webb only gets like 2,000, 3,000 listeners a day on his Ann Arbor, Michigan football radio show. We're doing 5, 6, 7 times the audience. Whatever. I don't want to talk about Sam Webb. I want to talk about this guy, though. All right. Popped up. I was looking at some of my photos. Someone asked me about a Michigan game from the back in the day. Rich Rodriguez. Some people call him the Sam Webb of Michigan football coaches. I'm not sure why, but I thought I'd get the juices flowing here on the show. That was such a weird time. 2008 was the weirdest season of all time. And then you felt like in 2009 there were certain times that Michigan was about to break through. And then 2010 it's like, oh gosh, you start 5-0. Denard Robinson's the best player in the country. And then it's just like once you hit the Big Ten season, absolute disaster. So give me a one-word reaction. Rich Rod's time at Michigan, 2008, 9, and 10 at the 2010 Michigan football banquet. He got up and sang a song and cried about how he wants to be a Michigan man, trying to save his job, kind of pathetic. Then he went to Arizona, Jack. You remember that one, and was all kinds of doing wacky stuff there as well. So give me a one word to describe Rich Rod's time at Michigan. I'm going with disaster. Let me know yours. Treg Brown, I think it's a first-time commenter, or at least first time on the show that we've put him on there. Treg Brown, so welcome to the Michigan Football Report. What will be the impact of Michigan moving on from Coach Weiss? That, of course, is Coach Matt Weiss, quarterbacks coach, offensive coordinator, co-offensive coordinator. Computer issues. We don't know what the actual story is as of yet. My thoughts are on this. I wonder, and this is no inside take yet, it's just me being a seasoned football fan and analyst here, is his departure. We've heard from people around the program that maybe the only thing Michigan didn't really have cohesive last year was the fact that Sharon Moore called every play except for third down or fourth down and then plays inside the 10-yard line. And frankly, I thought those plays inside the 10-yard line and some of the third and fourth down calls, those are Michigan's worst play calls. So all the good ones seem to be Sharon Moore. Now Moore has the full confidence of Jim Harbaugh and no co-OC that he's going to deal with. It's all Sharon Moore's deal this coming season. Plus, you've got Blake Corum and Donovan Edwards out this spring and maybe not even back to like June, July. So J.J. McCarthy, with Sharon Moore being his guy, Kirk Campbell, who he seems to like a lot, putting in more of an aggressive, deep offensive passing game, they have the entire spring to focus on that. Those two things, which nobody planned for Blake Corum and Donovan Edwards to be injured, nobody planned for Matt Weiss to be some computer email hacker snooper, but computer access snooper. But could those two things combined be a special sauce, an unintended special sauce that puts Michigan in the best place to win a national championship this year with an aggressive passing attack? It's just something to think about as we are getting into the month of March. All right, BB87. BB8, that's a Star Wars character, but he's BB87. Matt Weiss, he says, looking down, is Jadyn Davis this year's Domani Jackson? So, for those of you who don't follow the Domani Jackson ordeal, he was a 2022 recruit, so 2 years behind Jadyn Davis. And what he did basically was was going to silent commit to Michigan and went to Michigan one time for the Wisconsin game during the COVID year 2020, was ready to commit, and Michigan got blown out, and they just kind of kept stringing Michigan along until all of a sudden, just boom, committed to USC, his hometown team. So might Jadyn Davis do the same thing? All of a sudden commit to North Carolina somewhere, or Clemson, just kind of string Michigan along. They don't get their guy. Michigan obviously got Will Johnson, but had they got Domani Jackson, could have had the best two corners in the country. Interesting to think about. I certainly hope not, but I do think Michigan can't let string on into the summer, into next fall, like they did with Domani Jackson. I believe Michigan needs to have an answer this month or else. But here is the serious offer, the NIL offer to Jadyn Davis. This is no cap, no lie, because I think actually it would be a beneficial proposition for both our company and Jadyn Davis. So here's my offer. Jack, after the show, let's put this part on, put this in a YouTube short as well. We'll put this on social media. Serious offer to Jadyn Davis. Come to Michigan and Chat Sports, the company here. We will offer you $100,000 a year minimum to do a weekly or twice weekly co-host with me or someone else, the Jadyn Davis Show on YouTube. We could potentially make a lot more money with ad sales, with super chats, people donating, taking questions after games. That is where it's at. I actually get kind of irritated when I see Michigan football players doing interviews for free right now. They don't need to do interviews for free. They should be doing interviews for free. If they're doing anything with media, even after games, even talking to the press after games, Blake Corum goes and sits down at that thing and talks to 15 beat reporters after the Michigan State game, after the Penn State game, after the Ohio State game. He should be getting paid $3,000 for it, $5,000, right? That's his time. And those media entities are making money off Blake Corum's words and his presence there. Why isn't Blake Corum, J.J. McCarthy, Jadyn Davis getting paid for it? So the offer is this, Jadyn. Don't do media when you go to Michigan. Just do your own media. We'll guarantee you $100,000 at Chat Sports. I'm going to figure out a way to get that offer into your hands in the coming weeks as you take your trip to Michigan here coming up in mid-March, taking in spring practice and all the things that have to go. So no more talk from me, folks. Time to stop making rap videos and get out there and be a gangster. No more NIL talk. Everyone's saying Michigan's NIL, this and that. You know where to find me, Jadyn Davis. I'm going to make sure I find you, though. $100,000 YouTube show. But the only qualification required is you got to be living in Ann Arbor. I'm not sure if you can actually say have to play for Michigan. If you live in Ann Arbor, that is the offer from me, and that's just the minimum offer. We can go up from there if we put together a great show. So Jadyn Davis, $100K. Putting him on the table, Jack. I'm taking him out of the pants. Put them on the table. Let's keep it real, guys. But help me out, though. Where we're going to pay for this money, it'd be a big financial risk up front. So make sure you like the video. Put this content in the YouTube feeds of more Michigan football fans so we can maybe make a little bit of money so we can afford the NIL deal that maybe could bring Jadyn Davis to Michigan and stop this kind of whole Domani Jackson love you but don't love you thing that we've been dealing with for the past 8 or 9 months. Hope you enjoyed the show today, folks. We'll be back over on Monday, Tuesday with another video focusing on spring practice. Until then, go Blue.